From the CSI Softball Complex on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet presents NCAA Division II softball coverage live on the ECC network. In today's non-conference doubleheader, the College of Staten Island Dolphins take on the Chestnut Hill College Griffins. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman, soon to be joined by my broadcast partner, Nick Bavona. We weren't sure if we were going to play softball today. This game was in question as of about 2.5 hours ago, so we were a bit late down to the field. We get set up just in time for first pitch, so no McDonald's pregame show ahead of Game 1. We will have full pregame coverage along with an additional camera for Game number 2 today. For now, just one camera behind the dish as we are underway from the College of Staten Island, and the first pitch from Alexandra Frenza is in for a called strike one. In just a moment, I will get you the starting lineups for both teams, beginning first with the visiting Griffins. These two teams played a pair of one-run games last year, the Dolphins winning 9-8 in the first of those two games as they went on to split that doubleheader against Chestnut Hill last year. In Game 2, the Griffins won 5-4. For Chestnut Hill, this is their first game of the season. Their doubleheader yesterday postponed due to rain. The Dolphins did play yesterday. They took on Goldie Beacom College in a doubleheader, winning an 11-10 thriller in extra innings before losing 9-1 in Game 2. That pitch skips in for a ball. We'll have our live stats up in a moment. I need to consult those for the lineups. And that's ripped into left field for a leadoff hit. So for now, without our live stats, I'll head over to the Chestnut Hill website for their full roster. Though our paperwork should be around here somewhere. Perhaps Nick has my rosters. Leadoff base runner on for Chestnut Hill to start the game against Frenza. That pitch is in for a called strike. So Camille Dunham on to lead off the game, batting second. Liana Lopez Del Haro. She takes low for ball one. One and one. And that's sliced foul. One ball and two strikes, the count on the Griffins' second place hitter. And there's a swing and a miss for strike three. One gone in the road first inning. That pitch skips in for a ball. Throw does not go behind the runner. There's a swing and a miss. Comes the 1-1. And that's swung on and missed for strike two. Kayla Rolone at the plate for Chestnut Hill, behind 1-2. That misses away. Comes the 2-2. That's popped up. Shallow left. And the catch is made out there by Acosta for the second out. I apologize for that silence. We had to attend to our live stats. I have rosters, live stats now pushing correctly. Back on headset for the remainder of the day, soon to be joined by Nick Bavona. He's over at the public address desk right now, assisting our first-time PA announcer, Tyler Clark. Tyler, of course, one of our engineers here on Sportsnet, responsible for our public address today. Jen Pokropinski at the plate with 2 on and 2 out in the road first inning. Quickly, she's ahead 1-0. Pokropinski gets the start at second base today as she looks at a called strike. Camille Dunham reached to lead off the game on a single. She stands on second. Over at first is Skylar Cunningham. She drew a 2-out walk. Pokropinski ahead 2-1. And she swings and misses for strike 2. And that was a good pitch from Frenza. Had Pokropinski off balance there. That evens up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Comes the 2-2. That's fought off foul. Alexandra Frenza for the Dolphins last year got a lot of work in the circle. Won an East Coast Conference Pitcher of the Week award. She finds the zone for a called strike 3. Frenza strands 2 in the opening half inning, and we have no score as the Dolphins come to bat at home for the first time this season after this. And we are back from the CSI Softball Complex as we head to the bottom half of the first inning in the CSI Softball home opener. Dolphins playing game number 3 in the 2024 season. They began their season yesterday on the road at Goldie Beacom, earned a split in that doubleheader, and they come to bat here at home for the first time this year with no score as they take on the Chestnut Hill College Griffins. Gabriela Quinones in the circle for the Griffins. Her first pitch to Mariah Carcano in for a called strike. Carcano last year, 4th on the Dolphins in batting at .294. Got off to a red-hot start last season. Had a much stronger first half than second half. But all season long was a huge factor defensively in the outfield, saving runs with her glove in center. 1-1 pitch sails high. And Carcano is ahead 2-1. Carcano posted a .321 on base percentage last year. alongside that .294 batting average. Drew 6 walks, and now she's ahead 3-1. Following this at bat, I'll get you the full lineup for the Dolphins. Of course, Carcano leading off, Eileen Balderas in the on-deck circle. Comes the 3-1. That's sliced foul. Behind Balderas, Olivia Wansier batting third. Anissa Acosta in the cleanup spot. Victoria Whalen bats fifth. Cassidy Latour will bat sixth. Olivia Warner will bat seventh. Elizabeth Moore eighth. Alyssa Acosta ninth. And, of course, Alexandra Frenza in the circle. As that's hit softly to third, handled by Cunningham. Her throw in time with an assist from a stretch over at first base. Nice play there to secure that ball at first by Anastasia Watson. Got more of a stretch than she hoped for on the first ball put in play by the Dolphins, but that's good for the first out. And Eileen Balderas will be the batter. Balderas, another key part of the Dolphins lineup last year. Last season, Balderas hit .270, slugging at .416. That was good for second on the team. Her 4 home runs also good for second on the team. She made her impact felt quickly last season, homering on the first day of the 2023 campaign. That was in a doubleheader against Alliance University. I happened to be seated behind the left field wall when she hit that home run. It landed about 10 feet away from me. Here, Balderas behind in the count, 1-2. Bases empty, 1 gone in the home half of the first inning. Long look in here from Quinones. And the 1-2 is chopped foul. Dolphins, as a team last year, were fairly aggressive at the plate. We saw Carcano work a 3-ball count to start the game. And Balderas hits that hard through the right side for a base hit. That splits the right center field gap and gets under the glove of Preston. Balderas headed for third, and she is in standing. We will see if they score that a triple or an error in right field. I might have to give an assist on that one, so I may step off headset for a second. For now, we're going to give it a double with an error allowing Balderas to take third. That could change. So it's a double for Balderas. She stands on third with 1 out. And Olivia Wansier will be the batter as she looks at ball 1. Huge day for Wansier yesterday. Connected on her first home run, responsible for the lone run scored by the Dolphins in Game 2. So that's ripped foul. She had 4 base hits in the doubleheader against Goldie Beacom, all going for extra bases, 3 doubles in addition to that home run, 5 RBIs. Off to a .571 start at the plate this season with a chance to give CSI the lead right here. And the 1-1's taken low. Wansier has some good protection behind her in the Dolphins lineup. Anissa Acosta in the cleanup spot. Dolphins' best hitter from last season. As Wansier looks at that pitch high. And the count runs to 3-1. I would not be surprised if Quinones continues to pitch around Wansier here. That would set up the force at second. And that catches the inside corner. Count is now full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Balderas on third, 1 out. Bottom half of the first inning. Payoff pitch. It's hit well out to center. That will get the run in. That ball carrying toward the center field wall. And that is enough to give CSI the lead as Balderas will score the game's first run. CSI leads at 1-0. So for now, that run unearned, Balderas should be over at third. And we will see if that changes here with Anissa Acosta at the plate. I mentioned Acosta, CSI's best hitter last season. Currently on pace to set a new program record in home runs. Last season, Acosta hit .312 at the plate, outdone only by her sister. Alyssa hit .317 last year. So that's grounded foul, and the count is even at 1. Acosta last season, as I mentioned, hit .312, 5 home runs, 30 RBIs, 44 hits, and 141 at-bats, slugging at .532. She also drew 20 walks. That due in part to teams pitching around her, but she's a patient hitter at the plate as well, does not chase many bad pitches. And I think at times, with the team needing her offense so desperately, that lends to chasing a bit more than you'd see. And despite that, she still reached via the base on balls 20 times. She posted an on-base percentage just shy of .400 at .398, as that's taken up high. Count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 gone in the home half of the first. Dolphins with an early 1-run lead. 2-2 on its way from Quinones. And that's hit softly on the ground to the left of the circle. And Quinones tosses over to first to retire the side. So the Dolphins will settle for 1 run. That run does go down as unearned. Balderas doubles, advances on the error, and scores on the sacrifice fly off the bat of Olivia Wansier. 1-0 Staten Island after 1. Second inning getting underway from the CSI softball complex. Dolphins took a 1-0 lead in the previous half inning on a sacrifice fly off the bat of Olivia Wansier. She now has 6 runs batted in 2 games plus. Great start for her. As that pitch misses outside to Anastasia Watson. Were it not for Watson, that previous half inning may have been extended just a bit. Nice stretch over at first base to complete a putout in the previous half inning. As she fouls that pitch back. The 1-1 on its way. That misses low. Alexandra Frenza with 2 strikeouts in the first inning. And she has another 2-strike count here as that's fouled away. Two balls and 2 strikes to count on the Griffins' first baseman. There's a swing and a miss for strike 3. Punch out number 3 for Alexandra Frenza, and there's 1 gone in the road second inning.
Now batting the designated player, number 26, Luciana Baggi.
That pitch misses out of the zone for ball 1. Luciana Baggi at the plate. That's fouled away. Baggi, the designated player this afternoon. Count even here at 1 ball and 1 strike. Defensively for the Dolphins on the infield. Following this next pitch, and that's low. Anissa Acosta at first base. Olivia Warner at second. Eileen Balderas at short. Elizabeth Moore at third. Left to right in the outfield, Alyssa Acosta. Mariah Carcano, Victoria Whalen. Behind the plate, Cassidy Latour. I'll get you the defensive alignment for the Griffins in the next half inning, as we've had quite a bit to attend to early in this game. Once Nick joins me on the call, he will be running commercials in between innings. No more silence. Can't have the hot mic in between innings, but we will have commercials. And it looks like Nick is picking up his headset and will join me for the first time this season.
I think we're ready to go, Joe. We had a little bit of a tutorial at the PA announcements, but I think we're good to go.
And I think you're a bit louder than me, Nick. You might have to monitor those levels. Take a look.
I think we're good now. I apologize if I was a little bit too loud right there.
I hear you loud and clear. I think the tank might be a bit louder for basketball with us sitting in front of the crowd, as that's hit well out to left, but it looks like Baggi got under it just a bit, and the catch is made by Carcano.
Nice strong start for the Dolphins in that bottom of the first inning. They got the triple from Balderas, and then they were able to get the sacrifice fly from Wansier to get them the early 1-0 lead.
And how about the start to her season, Nick? 6 RBIs in just 2 games plus now.
You heard Tracy Garofalo before the game, Joe. She was very adamant about how Wansier started her season.
2 gone, bases empty. Top half of the second, as Maya Kemper swings and misses for strike 1. Kemper, the starting shortstop for Chestnut Hill. Now, Nick, you should not have to do anything there.
Yep, I was, accustomed to what we did last year, so I was ready to do it. But I noticed that it was going on the scoreboard, so we're good. I'm just here to do replays.
You can take a seat and just worry about commercials and replays. Nice and easy. As Frenza picks up another strikeout. Strong start for her. And the Griffins are set aside in the second inning. Dolphins lead it 1-0. We'll be right back.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we are back from the CSI Softball Complex, where the Dolphins lead it 1-0, coming to bat in the bottom half of the second inning.
And Victoria Whalen will lead it off for the Dolphins here in that bottom of the second inning. We saw a nice season from Whalen last year for the Dolphins, Joe. She takes an early first pitch strike down on the count 0-1.
And I think it's fair to say, Nick, that among the returning Dolphins, Whalen was the most improved last year, for sure. Her batting average jumped, I believe, about 80 points, hit nearly 300, put together some really good at-bats, patient approach at the plate, and got some big clutch hits, delivering not only out of the starting lineup, but as a pinch hitter.
And I think it was good for her because originally was not one of the initial stars for the Dolphins. She kind of worked her way into the lineup as the season went on. And as you mentioned, she really worked a lot of good at-bats, working the count. She's doing it right here now with a 2-1 count here in the bottom of the second. And working those counts and getting on base, that gives you a lot of durability for a team like this. So the Dolphins are very happy to have her in the lineup once again.
Whalen among the longest tenured Dolphins. Also in the starting lineup, another one of those longer tenured Dolphins, Elizabeth Moore. As Whalen could not hold up the swing there. And the count evens up at 2-2.
A little bit of a hesitation right there from Whalen as she couldn't decide if she wanted to swing or not. So now even at 2-2.
So perhaps there was some sound coming out of the speakers. Maybe, if the microphone wasn't off.
That microphone is tricky to turn to mute and unmute. I will say that.
I think the issue with that microphone is that when you turn it off, it defaults to muting. Right. Otherwise, you could just turn it off.
Right.
But if you turn it off, you then have to unmute it.
Right.
So it's a very, very poorly designed microphone.
I definitely had an instance last year where I thought it was muted and it was not muted. So
you have to take a look at that display. It's a really bad microphone.
Yeah. But meanwhile, Joe, we talked about Whalen and how she was able to work counts all of last season. She's now worked the count here now full at 3-2 with a chance to get on first base.
Get you the numbers for Whalen last season if this at-bat prolongs, but it will not, as that's grounded weakly to short, and Whalen is retired for the first out. But to your point, Nick, last season, Whalen drew 7 walks in just 67 official plate appearances with an on-base percentage of nearly 370. So that speaks to your point.
Number 6, Cassidy Latour.
And Cassidy Latour will be the batter.
One of our newer Dolphins here for CSI. She's behind the plate today for the Dolphins, and now comes up a 1 away here in the second.
Latour 1 of 4 to start the year. Started a game yesterday, and she looks at a called strike here.
Nice breaking ball right there from the Griffin starter Quinones, as she's now up 0-1.
Dolphins with a nice mix of newcomers and returners in the starting lineup. Of the 9 batters that will come to the plate for the Dolphins, 6 returners, 3 newcomers. Count even at 1 ball and 1 strike here on Latour. Pitch count unofficial. I think we missed a couple as we made a scoring adjustment in the first inning, but I have Quinones at 30. Though that will update after the at-bat, so 32. 3 pitches in this at-bat. We're at 29 entering the at-bat. It's hard to believe it's been almost a year since we called a game down here at the softball diamond.
Feels like just yesterday, as Tracy was pointing out to us earlier.
And that pitch is in for a letter-high strike as Latour goes down looking.
Dolphins faithful not happy with that call, to say the least, Joe. They thought it was just a little bit too high, but it is leading now to that out number 2.
The Fanatics did not approve. And that will bring up Olivia Warner.
Number 42, Olivia Warner.
Warner, another one of those Dolphins that are new to the ball club, as now she comes up with 2 away.
Warner 1 for 2 on the season. And she looks at a strike.
And Joe, as we both know, this will be the Dolphins' final game before they head out to Florida, and you will be in Florida for that trip for CSI softball. So should be another interesting trip for you down there.
I'm looking forward to it, as that's in for a strike. Now, I won't have Andrew Rotundo again to help me out like I did last year, so I'm going to attempt to both stat and call the games at the same time. We'll see how that goes. Audio only. You can catch those games with video on Flow Sports. But if you want to pair my voice with it, you're more than welcome. On CSI Sportsnet, we'll have the audio-only stream, but my primary objective is to go down there and score the games in person to avoid some of the issues that we've had with baseball scoring. They're in Myrtle Beach, and every year you get countless discrepancies between the two teams' scorebooks, changes that need to be made, and it can get a little hectic. And they have 10 games down there in Florida, so the more of those I can score, the better. I intend to score all 10, though we are going to get some help from some of the other schools. That's nice.
That is always a plus. That's definitely always a plus.
And that's hit down the third base line. Fair ball. Cunningham to her feet. And they are going to say that Watson was not on the base. So that's going to be an infield single. Watson, with a strong effort, was able to keep her foot anchored to the base on the previous play in the last inning that looked very similar. That will bring up Elizabeth Moore.
I was going to say, it brings up another returning Dolphin and Elizabeth Moore. Dolphins' third baseman back in the lineup today, coming up with a runner on and 1 and 2 away.
So the Dolphins prolong the inning on an infield single. That was quite the dribbler. Ball hit in the perfect spot.
Not an easy play for the third baseman.
And I'll tell you, Nick, the infield didn't make it any easier. We got some rain last night. I walked outside this morning, got in my car to come here, and I'm looking at my car. I'm like, I didn't think it was supposed to rain.
I didn't even know it rained until I saw my car as well.
And as our returning viewers know, I'm something of a meteorologist. So for me to be taken by surprise when it comes to weather is a rare occurrence.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen much.
I will say I'm very surprised by today's weather as well. Nice sunny day and not too cold right now.
Well, I can say with certainty, this is by far the earliest in the season I've ever called a home game. That's grounded foul. There was one season, this had to be probably 2018, maybe 2017. We did not have our first home game until March 31st. We barely got in a game in March. Today's date, February 26th, and you could not ask for better weather.
Definitely could not ask for better weather, especially, they're going to Florida this upcoming weekend. We're going to be seeing the baseball team playing down at the Ferry Hawk Stadium in the next couple of days. So hopefully the weather, stays around this type of temperature for the remainder of this week. Fingers crossed.
For our sake, on Friday morning, I hope the weather is like this once again.
Yeah.
Because even though we had a very nice press box with wired internet last year, it was freezing at the Ferry Hawks. To be expected down by the water, but colder than I expected. Comes the 2-2, and that's hit softly out to left, falling fast, and the catch is made for the final out of the inning. On the move there, making that play was Dunham. Moore is retired, and the Dolphins are turned aside in the second. Our score heading to the third, 1-0 Staten Island.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Top half of the third inning from the CSI softball complex. Dolphins with a 1-run lead as that pitch is taken upstairs for ball one. Camille Dunham, or excuse me, that's Maya Preston at the plate. Dunham will follow. She stands on deck.
It's going to be 9-1-2 for the Griffins here at the top of the third.
Now, over the summer, we called some games where at times we had to say 11, 12, and 13, 13, 1, and 2. Our first exposure to Little League baseball. That is the last baseball or softball that I called.
We also had the issue of left and right field, but that's to be discreet.
That is rectified today. We called those games from behind the outfield wall. We will not have that issue here at CSI. And the 2-1 is chased way out of the zone. Count even at 2. Frenza off to a very strong start in the circle. Already 4 strikeouts as that's popped up. Fair territory. And the catch is made by Moore.
Nice start to the inning for CSI right there. And as you mentioned, Frenza's had a good start to this game so far. And we saw flashes of that last season, Joe. She had a couple of good outings for the Dolphins on the year and was able to put some really good outings for them. She's looking to do it again here today, give them some momentum going into the second game of this doubleheader.
I think last year a big part of the equation for Frenza was workload. And a lot of the Dolphins pitchers threw a lot of innings. And there's no way that doesn't affect your ability to pitch at a high level consistently. When you're pitching sometimes 3 times in a week, 4 times in a week, it's tough. And there were doubleheaders where Frenza not only started a game but came on in relief in a game as the Dolphins will lose that play on the error. 1 out base runner for Chestnut Hill as Warner couldn't handle that one.
Hard hit ball to Warner right there.
Number 13, Miana Lopez Del Haro.
It's Lopez Del Haro now a bat for the Griffins.
First error of the game for CSI. Had to pass along the official scoring. Play-by-play commentator, official scorer, public address assistant next to me. Do it all. Quickly, Frenza ahead 0-2 here. And that's chopped through the left side, just past the glove of Moore for a base hit. Lopez Del Haro on with a 1-out single. And the Griffins now have 2 on with 1 out.
So a single right there for Lopez Del Haro. And that was one, Joe, where it was hit to third, and it just went under the glove of Moore right there. And now an opportunity for the Griffins to tie this game right here. First and second, 1 away.
That was hit just hard enough to get by Moore. First pitch in for a strike.
We talk about it a lot, Joe. Double play obviously gets you out of the inning, but it is very tough to turn a double play here on this field. So see if the Dolphins maybe could do it, but Frenza does have an 0-2 count.
Well, the way Frenza has pitched so far, the strikeout has been her best friend early in this game. 4 of them thus far. She's recorded 7 outs and could really use another punch out here. But you said it, Nick. It would be very tough to turn a double play on this infield, especially against a batter who may not be a double play candidate. So that's something to keep in mind.
And as we mentioned, the field and the condition, that also is going to play a factor into it as well.
I was shocked to see how wet the ground was when we came out here earlier today. But B&G did a great job to make the field playable.
And we saw the baseball field a couple of days ago, and that condition it was at that point. And
Swamplands.
Let's just say thankfully the baseball team was not playing.
That's it well out to center, but right at Carcano, who took a few steps in and then ranges back to make the catch for the second out.
She did a good job of tracking that one down. Obviously, the sun going to play a factor into some of these hit balls into the outfield, and she did a nice job of tracking it down. Now the Dolphins are an out away, going to get out of this situation.
And that ball was smoked, Nick. That ball was hit hard. Fortunately, Carcano in the right place at the right time, and it is left to Skylar Cunningham. Cunningham walked her first time up, and she looks at ball one.
Now, the good thing for the Dolphins here in this defensive situation is they can step on any base, obviously except home plate, but they can step on any of the base bags to get out of the inning.
Force all around here, and
commentators jinx right there.
Commentators jinx big time, Nick. I'm not sure that could have been
that was really bad timing.
Any more blatant.
That was really bad timing.
So much for that force all around.
Well, now in this spot, if a walk happens, it will load the bases and then could force the play at any plate, as Joe will attend to another stat issue. So I'll bring in this at bat right now. Cunningham up 2-0 the count. As she fouls that one back. Now the count 2-1. Hit right here for Cunningham would give the Griffins a potential 2-1 lead if she was able to get it into the outfield. Still up in the count 2-1. And takes a big swing and miss. A little bit behind on that one. And Frenza now a strike away from getting out of this jam. Now works the count to even at 2-2.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. 2 on for the Griffins. And that misses up and away for ball 3.
As I was mentioning, Joe, a walk is necessarily not the worst thing in this scenario now after that pass ball. It does load the bases, but then it would force the out at any plate.
Behind Cunningham, Pokropinski struck out, and Watson struck out, each in their first at-bat. So that's something to keep in mind. However, the 3-2 count, I think they're going after her here.
You know Frenza wants that third pitch strike.
That's popped foul. Big at-bat here early in this game. Top half of the third. Dolphins leading by a run. A base hit could give Chestnut Hill the lead. The Dolphins 1 strike away from stranding a pair. That's fought off foul. I think the good news for Frenza here, Nick, is that even though her pitch count's being run up a bit and Cunningham's doing a good job to battle, these are defensive cuts.
She's certainly making her work for this at-bat.
That's popped up just beyond the infield. Balderas is there, and she makes the catch to retire the side. Frenza strands a pair in scoring position, and the Dolphins hold on to a 1-run lead. Our score, Staten Island 1, Chestnut Hill 0.
No, I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Nick Durst here along with Joe Calabrese.
Here we are, 200 episodes later, about 150 episodes with guests, our friends, soon to be your friends.
Well, it's pretty clear, Joe, that it's all about You Know I'm Right, the podcast. That's my You Know I'm Right moment. Wanted to do a podcast, and everyone was like, what are you, crazy? Who's going to listen? You're not going to get guests. Well, guess what? I'm the best when it comes to getting guests. You could vouch for that.
I am so happy that you asked me to do this. I couldn't have been more thrilled. And follow us on socials, check us out. I promise you, if you want to work in media, whether you work in media now, whether you want to quit your job and work in media, come to us, and I promise you, we will get you on the right foot.
That's what it's all about, uncovering the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Keep it locked on You Know I'm Right.
Home third inning from the CSI softball complex as Alyssa Acosta will lead things off for the Dolphins. She gets ahead 1-0. Acosta, an East Coast Conference all-conference first-teamer last year. And she's quickly ahead here 2-0.
And how about the impact she had on the Dolphins her first year here with the team, batting over 300 for this CSI squad. So certainly makes a difference in this lineup, whether she's batting at the top of the order or at the bottom of the order.
She hit .317, outdoing her sister by 5 percentage points.
A little sisterly competition for that batting average, it seems. So we'll see if maybe they try to do it again this year.
Dolphins certainly hope so. Both swung the bat well last year. And Acosta will take a strike.
And you can see how dangerous of a runner she is as well, Joe, with the infield for the Griffins all the way in right now, trying to avoid giving up an infield hit.
In most cases, you almost have to against the lefty, as that is slapped foul. Acosta, one of those hitters that is capable of slapping that ball to the left side, but she's also very capable of driving the ball. And she, at times, will benefit from that drawn-in infield and hit one hard into left. And that's on the outside corner for a called strike 3.
A nice job by Quinonez getting back into that count, Joe. Was down 3-0, was able to work it forward 3-2. Gets a strikeout right there. Big first out for her.
Second strikeout for the Griffins starter.
Number 3,
Mariah
Mariah Carcano.
Carcano will be the batter. And she takes high. Comes the 1-0. And that's low for ball 2. So Carcano ran a 3-ball count her first time up, quickly ahead 2-0 here.
And she's another capable hitter of getting an infield hit. And as you see, the infield once again in for the Griffins right here.
And that's hit softly to third. And Carcano grounds out for the second time.
You see why they had the defense in. If they had a normal defense right there, Carcano might be able to run that one out. But heads-up job by the Griffins defense, as that was Cunningham who made the throw on from third to first. And now they've got 2 away.
Well, Cunningham's been very busy over at third base. And Eileen Balderas will come to bat for the second time. Base is empty, 2 gone here in the home third. Balderas with a perfectly placed double her first time up.
So she was able to reach third on the error. So a double and an error for her, getting on the first time up in this game. And how about the season she had last year, Joe? Another one of those Dolphins that her first year here certainly made a huge impact for the team. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, she was second on the team in home runs.
I mentioned that earlier. And I was about to say, as that's hit softly down the line again, and the throw is not in time. So we have another Dolphins infield hit.
And they are making Cunningham work right now at that third base line. That's why they call it the hot corner. Another tough play for Cunningham. Had to go down and grab this one, but Balderas able to run it out. And she's now 2 for 2 to start the game.
Sure, it doesn't matter to her how she gets on. She will certainly take it. Olivia Wansier will be the batter. And she takes low for ball 1.
Wansier was able to drive in Balderas last time with a sacrifice fly her first time up. Something into the gap. You never know, Joe. Maybe be able to drive her in once again and increase this Dolphins lead.
And that's hit through the left side for a base hit. Balderas will take a turn and stop at second. And Wansier is on with a 2-out single.
Wansier making a nice impact in this game so far. Now 1 for 1 with that hit right there, the sacrifice fly as I mentioned earlier. And now the Dolphins have a runner in scoring position for what a lot of people would say is the most dangerous hitter in this lineup.
That was certainly the case last year. And now Anissa Acosta will come to bat. Acosta with 2 on, lines one straight into the glove of Cunningham. That ball was ripped, and Cunningham was there to snag it for the final out in the 3rd inning. The Dolphins now strand a pair on base, and we head to the 4th. Staten Island leading 1-0.
College sports.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
A return to normal, and all we love about sports.
You've instilled resilience, focus, and selflessness in us. We've put those lessons to work.
We've found strength and unity in each other.
You continue to take us places we never imagined.
You bring out the best in us.
So when we look forward, we see the light at the end of the tunnel.
We see a better world for all of us and for college sports.
And we're back from the CSI softball complex. And Nick, the pronunciations continue to roll in.
Well, the good thing is we got it out of the way earlier in the year, which is always a plus because remember we had similar situations the past 2 years, or at least definitely last season with pronunciation. So it's, correct me if I'm wrong, Wanser now.
Yes.
Okay. So it is Wanser, not
I won't
Wanser.
throw anybody under the bus, but we had a
It sounds like you want to, though.
No. I'm just saying we had a very reliable source tell us otherwise. That's all.
Not
I think that's fair.
No name dropping.
No names.
No name dropping.
That's hit softly to short. Balderas there. 1 gone.
It's going to be a tough day for these infielders. It's a good job by Balderas to get that throw in, but you could just see it right off the bat with that ball going into the infield. It's a very slow ground ball. So these infielders are going to have to be very quick making their throws onto first base. But for the most part in this game so far for both of these squads, they have done a pretty good job of this fielding conditions the way we're going in this game.
Thus far, just 1 error per side. One of those came in the outfield. Anastasia Watson, the batter. She's 0 for 1 with a strikeout and is ahead 1-0 here. And she takes high for ball 2. That last pitch for Frenza, approximately number 62. And she's behind 3-0.
And obviously, the Dolphins will have a lot of rest in between after today's 2 games and then going into their next game, which is next Monday. So a full week off for CSI as they prepare for Florida.
And Frenza finds the zone for a strike. And while CSI softball will have a week off after this, no time off for us here on Sportsnet. We're back at it Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, and then I'll be down in Florida covering some of those games as that's hit well into the right center field gap. That ball rolls all the way to the fence as Watson will reach second base standing with a 1-out double.
That was ripped into right center field right there from Watson, and now a runner in scoring position early here in this top of the 4th inning for the Griffins as they look to tie this game.
And that's as well as the Griffins have hit a ball since that line drive out to Carcano in center field.
Designated player, number 26,
Luciana Baghi will be the batter. She pops one up on the infield. Easy play there made over at second base by Warner. Watson forced to hold, and there are 2 away.
That's what Frenza needed right there, Joe. As we mentioned the pitch count earlier, she needed kind of a quick out to get. She's trying to get out of this inning, gets a nice 1-pitch pop-up right there, and is now 1 out away from getting out at the top of the 4th with the runner on second.
Maya Kemper will come to the plate here. And there's a swing and a miss.
Joe, I will say one of the things that I'm sure you're happy to hear after a full year off, the infamous chants we get from each dugout for both squads. So very, wholesome sound to hear this early on in the season.
Most of the time.
Well, as long as it's PG.
It's
mostly PG.
Is the other chant PG or is that PG-13? I think with implication it's PG-13.
Depends on how your mind is thinking. That's the problem. I know what chant you're thinking of.
Everyone knows.
I think everyone at this point knows as well.
Keep him clean is all I'll say. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. That's fouled back.
And you mentioned you'll be going on the trip to Florida with one of the men that just arrived here, Patrick Fleming. He is behind you.
Is he?
He is right. He has just joined us here.
He might make a cameo or two. We'll see if I can stomach him on headset.
That's one we're going to have to make sure if it's PG or not.
he might need some tape delay.
Yeah.
As Frenza picks up another strikeout and once again strands a runner in scoring position. We head to the home 4th inning. CSI leads 1-0.
Across divisions, sports, championships, and schools for nearly 500,000 student athletes. College sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student athlete.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby.
Inside the 30. Touchdown. Michaela birds it. An incredible finish by Hall.
The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org.
Home 4th inning from the CSI softball complex, and Victoria Whalen will lead things off. And Whalen takes high. Quinones looks in. 1-0 on its way. And that's lined down the right field line for a base hit. That ball rolls all the way into the corner. It takes a bad hop off the fence, but Whalen will stop at second with a leadoff double.
And hit it against the shift as well, Joe, as they were leading towards right center field. So a great piece of hitting right there from Whalen, and she's on with a leadoff double.
Dolphins with their 5th hit of the game as we play on here in the 4th. And a big opportunity now for Cassidy Latour and the Dolphins. That's hit to short, and Latour is thrown out. 1 away.
Nice bounce back right there for the Griffins as they get the 1 pitch out on the ground out to short, and it also keeps the runner at second base.
Well, if you're Chestnut Hill, you can't ask for anything more than that in that spot. 1 pitch, 1 out, and the runner does not advance as Olivia Warner will be the batter. Warner singled on the infield earlier, and she looks at a strike. Behind Warner, Elizabeth Moore and Alyssa Acosta. That misses down and away. Here's the 1-1. That's high, ball 2.
Mentioned, Joe, it's going to be a very busy week for us here on Sportsnet. Not only with today, we have Wednesday, obviously senior night for the basketball teams. Then, as we mentioned earlier, the baseball team will be at the Ferry Hawks on Friday and on Sunday as they open up their home games here on the season.
If you're a fan of CSI Dolphins athletics, this is the week for you.
Especially the upcoming month of March.
Very rare that you get softball, basketball, and baseball all in the same week. You won't see that every season for sure. I don't think we had it last year.
I don't think we did either.
I think our last basketball home game was outside of that first week of baseball and softball, and I don't think softball played a home game here until after Florida. They played a game on this field, but they were not the home team. We did not broadcast that game. I was here, did not broadcast. 3 balls and 1 strike. The count on Warner. First base is open, and Warner draws the walk. There is action in the Griffins bullpen. Michelle Baker is tossing right now. Looks like she may have just gotten started. Elizabeth Moore will be the batter. Moore comes to the plate with 2 on, 1 out here in the home 4th. And she takes inside for ball 1. Moore 0 for 1 at the plate. Ahead in the count here, 1-0. That catches the outside corner.
Moore is able to get something up the middle. A very wide gap between shortstop and the second baseman for the Griffins. So something up the middle for Moore right here. Especially if she can hit it maybe a little bit more towards right center. Could bring home the runner from second.
That's a good point, Nick. There is a huge opening in the middle of the diamond right now. More likely wouldn't be easy to double up unless the ball's hit very hard. That's fought off foul. Count now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Big pitch here for Quinones. 2-2 on its way. And that caught the knob of Moore's bat.
So Moore stays in the at-bat now. It's still 2-2. Trying to protect the plate here and either work the count full or try to put the ball in play.
Here comes another 2-2 pitch. Moore had to wait on that one. It's hit toward the middle, and the only play is to first, where Moore is out. Just by a step. And we'll get a second look at that one. I'm not sure how good our view will be. Looks like we have a pretty good view. Keep in mind we will have a second camera for game 2 as we queue up another look at that last play.
And as you mentioned, she had to wait on this one, an off-speed pitch. And throw was there in time. Might have to try to, worst-case scenario, slow it down a little bit at one point. So maybe the next chance we have, we'll try to slow it down. But it was certainly a close play.
And were it not for the cross beam in our backstop, we'd have a great view of the infield with our camera. As it stands, we could probably do without that cross beam. But that will be rectified in game 2. Pitcher-batter camera expected to be set up in right field. As that pitch misses down and away. Another change we made for this year, our doubleheaders will now be streamed separately. one game from the other. So game one on one stream, the game one stream will end, and then a separate stream for game two will start just ahead of first pitch, perhaps a bit earlier today if we can get our camera set up. Count runs to 2-1 on Acosta here.
We'll have to see how much time we have in between games, as we already had a little bit of a delay for this one, so curious to see what happens.
I figure that there's no way we get any less than 20 minutes. There's that sliced foul, and the count evens up on Acosta at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
This could be dangerous territory if Acosta was again to hit it up the middle. I mentioned it in the bat with Moore, but with the infield in.
Look how far in they are.
This is a great opportunity for Acosta to drive home too.
That misses high. So this is the kind of respect they have for Alyssa's ability to bunt. But with 2 strikes, I'm surprised that they would play this far in. And that catches the outside corner for a called strike 3. Quinones sets down Acosta looking, and the Dolphins strand a pair in the home 4th. When we come back, top half of the 5th inning from the CSI Softball Complex.
On and off the court, we're focused on creating lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. More college athletes are earning degrees than ever before, but we've still got work to do. That's why we're raising the bar for incoming freshmen, so they're prepared when they get to campus. And why teams can't play in championships unless they make the grade. Education matters, and putting academics first creates a pathway to a lifetime of opportunity. When all eyes are on the court, we're focused on what matters most, preparing college athletes for a lifetime of opportunity. After the buzzer, off the court, it's about education and working to earn a degree. Creating healthier campuses through groundbreaking research and policies. And a fair shot so dreams can stay on track. United as an association, we've got work to do. We're building a pathway to lifelong opportunity.
And we're back for the 5th inning from the CSI Softball Complex. And the first pitch in the 5th is topped foul down the third base line, as Maya Preston will lead things off for Chestnut Hill, number 9 hitter for the Griffins.
So far, Joe, through 4 innings, we've had a pitcher's duel between these 2 pitchers, so it's been a good showing for both of them so far.
Alexandra Frenza still in there for the Dolphins. She's pitched very well. Did not pitch yesterday, so you figured she would get a start today, and it's gone very well to this point. She is through 4 1/3 scoreless. She gets Preston to pop up to center.
And that will now bring us back to the top of the order for the Griffins as Camille Dunham will now come up to the plate.
3 hits in the game for Chestnut Hill. One of those belongs to Dunham, and it came in the game's first at-bat. And that's popped up. Once again on the infield, and Warner has it. 2 gone.
And you could not have asked for a better start to the inning for Frenza. 2 quick outs here in the top of the 5th. And a chance to get out of this inning and get a 1-2-3 going into the bottom of this 5th inning.
Now batting the catcher, number 13.
That will bring up the catcher, Diana Lopez Del Haro. She also has one of the 3 Griffin base hits. And she looks at that pitch down in the dirt for ball 1. Comes the 1-0. That's up and away. Comes the 2-0. And that's it out to shallow right center. Carcano on the move, and she makes the catch to retire the side. 1-2-3 inning for Alexandra Frenza in the circle, and the Dolphins maintain a 1-run lead headed to the home half of inning number 5.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's will you?
As a student athlete in college, I first got involved with the NCAA at the national level. It was through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, gave me an opportunity to advocate on behalf of all student athletes, to affect change and to make an impact. The NCAA is giving the student athlete a platform to voice their concerns and to be able to advocate for what's going to affect their well-being. The policies that are being put in place are speaking towards academics, they're speaking towards well-being, they're speaking towards fairness, creating a culture so that the student athletes have the best experiences possible.
Back to the top of the order for the Dolphins in the bottom half of inning number 5. CSI still leads 1-0. Sacrifice fly back in the home first inning, bringing home the game's lone run, and that score has stood since that point.
Alexandra Frenza, a nice 1-2-3 inning, Joe, in the top of this 5th inning. Now works here, with this 1-run lead going into the bottom of the 5th, and the Dolphins obviously would like to get her some run support.
Mariah Carcano getting things started for the Dolphins is behind 0-1. Carcano 0 for 2 at the plate in this game. And she looks at a ball. As I mentioned when we came on the air, these two teams last season played 2 one-run games. So this is not unfamiliar territory for these two programs. And Carcano looks at a strike. One and 2 the count on the Dolphins center fielder. Quinones looks in and delivers. There's a swing and a miss.
She brought the heat on that one, Joe. Big first out for her.
Well, they had the wrong count, Nick.
Oh, they had the wrong count. Okay, so we're at 1 and 2.
It's 2 and 2.
2 and 2.
That misses low.
So we originally thought that it was a strikeout right there, but now Carcano has now worked the count full to 3 and 2.
Big pitch coming up here with Carcano leading off the inning, having a chance to get on. Payoff pitch. And that's hit into left field for a base hit. And the drawn-in infield this time benefits the Dolphins as Carcano lines one over Cunningham and into left for a leadoff single.
That's the danger of having the infield that much in. Carcano was able to hit it over the third baseman, Cunningham, to get an easy hit right there. And with her speed and ability, Joe, a dangerous runner on the base path for the Dolphins as Balderas now comes up to the plate.
Balderas 2 for 2, looks at that pitch high as Carcano draws attention over at first base. Long look in. The 1-0 pitch is ripped foul. Tracy unfazed over in the third base coaching box.
Always got to be ready at that third base corner, whether you're the third baseman or the third base coach.
Perhaps more so if you're the coach without a glove.
Yeah.
Count even on Balderas at 1 ball and 1 strike. Carcano didn't run much last year, but she was among CSI's leading base stealers as Balderas takes a called strike. Quinones looking to retire Balderas for the first time. Balderas hoping to at least move Carcano into scoring position. Here's the 1-2. Carcano is running. Throw off the mark. And it looked like they had a chance to get Carcano, Nick, as Kemper just didn't get there in time.
And that one, the throw was certainly there. It was the unfortunate part for the Griffins. The throw was a little bit low and in the dirt, leading to that stolen base. Now the Dolphins have a runner in scoring position. An RBI opportunity now for Balderas.
Big opportunity here for the CSI shortstop. At the very least, wants to move Carcano over, and she'll move her head coach over again. Careful over there, Tracy.
You see right there at the tail end of the play, the throw was a little bit in the dirt from the backstop. So Kemper was certainly there in time to make the play at short. Unfortunately, it just wasn't there throw-wise, so Carcano was able to take advantage.
If Kemper gloved it, they had a chance. As Balderas takes down and away, and the count runs full again. Quinones being forced to work here. I have her pitch count at about 90.
Have to think that maybe this could be her last inning of work, depending on how it goes.
And that's it toward the middle. Fielded it short. Throw by Kemper in time. But that does the job to advance the runner.
So Dolphins able to move the runner now to third base on that ground ball. And Wanser now has another RBI chance right here.
So Wanser officially 1 for 1. Sacrifice fly and a base hit in this game.
And now officially pronounced right.
Now officially pronounced correctly. So that misses down and in. To be fair, that's what we would have said if not told otherwise.
Right. And this is a tough spot for the Griffins because even if you walk Wanser, then you have to deal with Acosta on deck. So not going to get any much easier for Chestnut Hill right here.
The more protection you have in the middle of that lineup for your big bats, the better. And again, an extremely small sample size, just a couple of games and now 4 innings plus, but Wanser looks like one of those big bats in the middle of the lineup that should help hitters like Anissa Acosta and the other Dolphins that got fewer opportunities last year. That pitch finds the zone at the letters.
Another off-speed pitch right there to now work the count 2-1. So far, the Dolphins, the only thing really that you really could critique early on in this game, Joe, is they've left a couple runners in scoring position on base. So they would like to bring home this runner at third and increase this lead.
There's a big at-bat here. And that's it out to shallow left. Carcano might test it, and she will not.
Great throw from left field to preserve the runner to stay at third base. So big out number 2 right there for the Griffins, and they're 1 out away from getting out of this jam.
Strong throw, Nick, but I think if she goes, we have a play at the plate. Only because the throw was tailing toward the first base line. Let's see. We actually have a great look at it with this angle. Oh, yeah.
So they would have been a play.
I think she beats it. As that's it well to right. The ball was misjudged, and it's over the head of Rolone all the way to the base of the fence. Anissa Acosta delivers. 2 out, RBI double, and the Dolphins double up their lead. It's now 2-0.
Well, Dolphins were 1 out away from getting into a situation where they would have left another runner on base and would not have brought in another run. But when you need to get a runner in, Anissa Acosta certainly is that one to bring home the run. Big RBI double to extend the inning, now give her team a 2-0 lead here with 2 away. As Tracy Garofalo now will talk to the home plate umpire. I would assume, Joe, we maybe might have a pinch runner.
Pinch runner.
So it's Kristen Cardillo now coming in for the Dolphins. She's going to pinch run at second base for Acosta with 2 away. But a huge RBI for the Dolphins to now extend their lead to 2 and give Victoria Whalen now an RBI chance, keeping that runner at second after the double. She takes a big swing and miss on that first pitch, down on the count 0-1.
So we'd presume Acosta will re-enter. For now, pinch runner over at second base, as you mentioned, Nick, Cardillo. Comes the 0-1 to Whalen. That's hit sharply to short, and it is handled cleanly there by Kemper, who throws out Whalen for the final out of the inning. But not before the Dolphins add 1 run to their lead. They now lead it 2-0 as we head to the 6th. Chi Aesthetics Med Spa and Wellness Center. Our approach to beauty and wellness begins with a holistic plan tailored to the unique needs of our patients. When we consult with patients, we let them tell us what their problem is. We don't tell them what the issue is. We find out what they're looking for, and we discuss, and then we give them options. If you're looking to achieve radiant skin, you've come to the right place. We offer hydrofacials, microneedling, Opus Plasma, peels, facial and laser treatments, laser hair removal, body sculpting, fat freezing, hormone replacement therapy, Botox, IV drip therapy, and more. We are open Monday through Saturday and are located at 720 Forest Avenue, Staten Island, New York, 10310. We hope to see you soon. Visit our website at www.chiaesthetics.com for more information.
Top of the 6th inning here at the softball complex. Dolphins now have a 2-0 lead after the Anissa Acosta RBI double. And it's a huge second run now because it gives Frenza a little bit more breathing room heading into this top of the 6th inning.
Well, Dolphins, time and time again, have gotten big hits from Anissa Acosta, and she delivered one in that last half inning. She hit that ball hard to the opposite field. That should be noted. We don't see many balls hit that well to the opposite field here at the softball complex.
And for Rolone, who's leading off the inning for the Griffins, that was a play in which the sun, it looked like, played a factor, as that one is hit towards the first base line. Acosta's going to make the play for the first out of the inning. But that was one where Rolone kind of seemed like she struggled with the sun, and that's why she mistimed the ball and where it was going. And that unfortunately led to the Dolphins getting their second run of this game, and now this 2-0 lead.
Well, Nick, if you look over your shoulder, you can see the sun is setting directly behind us, and that would be in the eyes of the right fielder. So you might be right about that. Regardless of the reason, the Dolphins will take it, as that's hit well out to right center. Whalen on the move, won't get there. She kicks it away, allows Carcano to scoop it up, and Cunningham is forced to hold it first with a 1-out single.
Well, good thing the Dolphins were able to pick up that ball right there. It would have been a single and an error on the play. Instead, it will just be a single for Cunningham. Does bring the tying run now to the plate for the Griffins.
Jen Pokropinski will be the batter. And she swings and misses, as she did get a piece of that, but it ends up in the glove of Latour. Comes the 0-1. That catches the inside corner. So unofficially, Nick, we have Frenza at about 84 pitches, which in softball terms, not nearly as many as it would be were we on the baseball diamond.
Right.
So she is poised, if she can get through this inning, to perhaps come out for one more.
You know, she certainly would love to have that opportunity to do so. And who knows, stranger things have happened, but a double play would get her out of the inning, but does have a 2-strike count.
Those will be tough to come by today, as you mentioned earlier. And that pitch misses high. Something else to keep in mind here heading into the 7th inning. If Frenza can get through this inning quickly, as in getting the next 2 outs within 2 batters, as that misses outside, that would set up the bottom third of the order for the 7th.
And on deck for the Griffins is Anastasia Watson. Count right now is full at 3-2, so a huge pitch right here. Frenza will step off the mound and will rethink this next upcoming pitch.
And the payoff pitch misses down and in for ball 4. So perhaps I jinxed Frenza, perhaps. But now there are 2 on, 1 out.
And they're going to have a pinch runner coming in for the Griffins, I believe, for Cunningham at second base.
I think you're right. So we'll find out who that's going to be momentarily. And you said it. Watson, previously on deck, now gets the big opportunity with 2 on base and 1 out.
It looks like it's, trying to see if that is a 20.
Amaris Guzman.
So
And Cunningham will re-enter.
Yep.
Nice and easy for us here at the stats desk.
Now batting, first baseman, number 33, Anastasia Watson.
So Watson comes to the plate, 1 for 2. 2 on, 1 out. And Frenza's pitch is sliced into the glove of Acosta.
Huge play right there from Acosta. Was in foul territory, but she was still able to make the catch and record that second out. And now the Dolphins once again have the opportunity where a ground ball, they can step on any bag and get out of the inning. I know I jinxed it the first time, Joe. I know. But that is certainly the case right now for CSI.
Luciana Baghi will be the batter. Still 2 on, now 2 outs, and Baghi looks at a strike.
Baghi obviously represents the go-ahead run at the plate. Tying run at first base for the Griffins in this spot, with the Dolphins up 2-0.
That pitch skips in. One ball and 1 strike the count on the Griffins' designated player. That's hit softly to third. Chance for more. And her throw is in time to retire the side. Once again, the Griffins strand a pair as Alexandra Frenza has put up 6 zeros. Her and the Dolphins lead it 2-0, heading to the home half of inning number 6.
My path to a college degree would have been completely different had I not run Division II cross country for the University of Mount Olive. Having an athletic and academic scholarship was key for my success. Our coaches were really helpful with balancing out my academics and athletics. I decided to attend graduate school because I wanted to become an athletic director. Receiving the postgraduate scholarship through the NCAA provided me with the flexibility to choose the school that I wanted. So now I know that I can accomplish any goal that I set for myself.
And we're back for the home half of the 6th inning. With the Dolphins looking for some insurance, they lead it 2-0. Cassidy Latour will lead things off. 6, 7, and 8 due up for the Dolphins as Latour looks at a strike.
Alexandra Frenza was able to work out of that 6th inning, Joe, so you'd have to imagine she most likely will come back out for the 7th. Try to keep up this great start that she has put up so far here today.
Count 1 ball and 1 strike on the CSI catcher. And this is outside. Here comes the 2-1. And that ball's crushed foul.
Scars better watch out. Been a very busy day here at CSI.
2-2 on its way from Quinones. And that off-speed pitch is grounded through the left side for a base hit. And the Dolphins have the leadoff batter on in the 6th.
And that's a great at-bat from Latour right there. You saw it, Joe, as you mentioned. Off-speed pitch, had to wait on it, and she did a great job of waiting on it right there to get it right past the shortstop and the third baseman for a leadoff single.
Olivia Warner will be the batter. Warner officially 1 for 1 in this game. And she fights off that pitch foul. Not sure if you can feel it yet, Nick. With the sun setting,
yep,
the temperature is falling.
Unfortunately.
Game 2 will be under the lights.
Yep.
Not often we get to call a night game.
That will be a spectacle to see.
I've only called 1 true night game in 8 years behind the backstop, calling Dolphin softball.
And we didn't have that at the Ferry Hawks last year, right?
We
With
did
baseball?
not. We did not.
I think we're going to have that probably on Sunday too, no?
Have fun.
I've seen the lights at night for a Ferry Hawks game, so it should be fun.
Good opportunity for you to call those games. Now, solo is not my preferred situation for calling games, but you'll get the play-by-play duties for that doubleheader. If Andrew wants to come help you, he's more than welcome.
Sure.
It is a Sunday. Might be off Sunday.
St. Patrick's Day Parade is also happening that day on the island, so going to be tough to get to the Ferry Hawks Stadium for anyone that's trying to get there.
Arrive early.
Yeah, definitely arrive early.
The suites will be open. So that sliced foul. Now, not open to the public. You will need to contact the team through the appropriate channels to get tickets. What those appropriate channels are, perhaps head coach Mike Morrow?
I think he knows a person or two from the Ferry Hawks.
He might.
Just a hunch.
He might.
Just a hunch.
1 ball and 2 strikes, the count on Warner. Dolphins looking for some insurance here in the 6th. And that's hit down the left field line for a base hit. Latour moves up to second, and Warner is on with her second hit of the game. It's a single to advance another Dolphin into scoring position, and now Liz Moore will come to the plate with 2 on.
So the Dolphins with 2 straight singles to start off this bottom of the 6th, and now this is going to start a situation where the Griffins might have to start considering whether or not to make a pitching change. We will see a change in the field for the Dolphins as it's going to be Sabrina Caffel now coming in to pitch run for Warner at first base.
So Caffel, who got plenty of pinch running duty last year, will come in to pinch run here. Dolphins now with 9 hits in the game. The Griffins with just 4. And CSI with a chance here to give Alexandra Frenza some insurance and a bigger lead. Moore looking to bunt, and I think she offered at that one and missed.
And she said, my bad. You can see it from her right there, but this is going to be interesting if she does get the bunt down. Can move the runners both into scoring position, so see if she does here at 0-1.
Well, Moore not a player that we've been accustomed to seeing asked to bunt, as that's topped foul, and now Moore is in a 2-strike hole.
Well, certainly can't bunt in this spot now, down 0-2, so Moore will have to protect the plate. Had a long at bat last time she came up to the plate. We'll try to prolong it here being down 0-2.
Moore just looking to put the ball in play here and move the runners up. Comes the 0-2. That's off the outside corner.
Remember the last time she came up, she had a slow ground ball to short and barely got thrown out at first base, so could potentially do that again. And she once again has that middle of the field wide open if she's able to drive it to right center.
Good eye there by Moore as she holds up and looks at ball 2. I have Quinones at about 112 pitches now. Probably a few more than that. This next one will be a big one. She does not want to run the count full here. And Moore puts it in play.
That's going to be interference.
We have a collision.
That's going to be interference on the runner.
That is a brutal call, but the right one.
That is the right call on the play. So
we'll get a second look at it.
They're going to check now on the shortstop for the Griffins right there, but that's a bad break for the Dolphins right there.
Yeah, there's not much that either player could do there, and obviously you have to give the infielder an opportunity to field the ball, but Kemper never had that chance, collides with the runner, and that's a big out for Chestnut Hill. So we're going to have a pinch hitter here.
That's Natalia Noth coming up to pinch hit for Acosta.
The key for the interference. Do you remember what the interference code is?
I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head.
All right, we need the stats bag. So Stephanie, go grab out of that bag the piece of paper. It'll have the interference on there. So what I'll need you to do, someone keep a makeshift scorecard on their phone, and I'll take care of this scoring. It would happen that in Stephanie's first game on stats, we get an interference. So I had it correct. All right, so we have a hit by pitch. So we're having an issue here, putting in the interference. So Alyssa Acosta will come back in after Noth was hit by the pitch. And the Dolphins now have the bases loaded.
So Carcano now comes up, Joe. Bases loaded, 1 out.
Take over.
Well, they heard you say that. I accidentally muted myself, so I will take over now.
Nick will take over the call as I try and
You're muted now, Joe. You're already muted. So swing and strike from Carcano right there. Count is 0-1. Bases loaded for the Dolphins. Stops on the outside for a ball. Count now 1-1. Carcano could break the game open right here if she's able to get something into the gap as that one's down the third base line, but it's going to go foul.
Hey, Jules, make sure she's in foul.
Count now is 1-2.
Make sure she's leading in foul territory. She's on the field of play. She's got to be in foul territory.
So count now 1-2 after that last foul ball. And Carcano just calls time the last second before the pitch was thrown, so count remains 1-2. Tracy Garofalo was looking for a balk on that play.
All right. So I think we scored it correctly, Nick. I think we're okay. So you can put that paperwork underneath the laptop.
Now, if you need the pitches for the next 2 batters, I did write that down.
Not important.
Okay.
As the Griffins get the out at home. That ball was hit hard right at Cunningham, and she handled it perfectly. Came home with plenty of time. And you said it, Nick. The Dolphins were not happy that they didn't get that balk call. And that will leave them with the bases loaded and 2 outs for Eileen Balderas.
That's a great scoop by third baseman Cunningham right there, and a huge out number 2 for the Griffins. And they're 1 out away from getting out of the jam. Balderas, though, has been a tough opponent so far for these Griffins. So would certainly like to get on base one more time and open this game up for CSI.
Balderas, 2 for 3 in the game. Biggest at-bat thus far for her. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Balderas ahead 1-0. And that's hit to short. Kemper looked to third and has no play. Cunningham wasn't yet covering, and Kemper lost the play.
And the indecision right there from Kemper is going to cost her team a run. That's a big break for the Dolphins as they now go up 3-0. So Wanser now comes up to the plate. Bases loaded, 2 away. And she drills that to deep center. Will that carry enough? And it does just die at the wall for the final out of the inning. Dolphins do get one more run here in this top of the 7th. We're just a couple of feet away from potentially opening this one up as we now head into the top of the 7th inning. CSI leads this one now, 3-0 Dolphins.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive to achieve every goal we aim for.
Top half of the 7th inning from the CSI softball complex. Dolphins scratch out a run on a fielder's choice. They now lead it 3-0 as they picked up some insurance for Alexandra Frenza, who returns to the circle for the 7th inning. The first batter she will face is a pinch hitter for Chestnut Hill. Erica Kwasik will be the batter. Count even on the Griffins pinch hitter at 1-1 strike. Chestnut Hill now down to their final 3 outs, playing here in the 7th. And Frenza gets ahead 1-2.
Kwasik on that last pitch was a little bit behind on that one as Frenza brought the heat on there. Now looking for the strikeout. Just misses
up and away.
Dolphins were a couple of feet away, Joe, from getting more runs than that previous half inning as Wanser hit that one deep into center. Ball just did not carry enough for it to go over the wall, but a big strikeout to start off the top of the 7th for Frenza.
And Frenza has another, as there's one away here in the 7th inning. And for Frenza, that is strikeout number 6.
So let's bring up Preston now here with one away. And she shows bunt. He's called for the strike 0-1.
So our statistician, Louis Matrone, just sent us a graphic on how to score interference. Basically what I did is a 6 unassisted putout via interference, and that worked.
Okay.
I don't know if that's what Lewis just sent us. I'll have to take a look in between games. I think that's basically what he has here. That ball is tapped softly in front of the plate, and the Dolphins have no play.
That was a great bunt from Preston right there. She was able to get it right in front of home plate. Moore had no chance coming in, and the Dolphins now give up a one-out hit.
And that will bring up Camille Dunham.
So the Griffins are back to the top of the order after that last bunt single. And she's also going to bunt Joe right to Frenza, and she will not get the throw to first. So that is back-to-back bunt singles for the Griffins, and they now have the tying run at the plate.
So the Griffins entered the inning with just 4 hits. And now have consecutive bunt singles, which brings the tying run to the plate.
That's going to be Lopez Del Haro now. And what an opportunity right here for the Griffins. 2 straight bunt singles now give them this tying opportunity.
Frenza got the first out very quickly via strikeout. And the Griffins changing their approach, going with the bunts. And that's thrown things into question late in this game just a bit.
I think if you're Frenza now, who's down the count 2-0, has to just focus on getting this out right here. Cannot worry about the 2 runners that are on base. Has the 3-run lead, just needs to focus on the batter right here and try to get that second out. A good bounce back pitch right there to not make the count 2-1.
Two balls and 1 strike the count on Lopez Del Haro, and that's sliced toward the right field line, and Whalen can't get there. That will roll all the way to the fence. 1 run is in, 2 runs are in, and the turn was taken at third by Lopez Del Haro. She will stop there, and the Griffins are back to within a run. Our score is now 3-2.
It's kind of the opposite of where you say a bloop and a blast in baseball. 2 bunt singles, and now a big 2-run triple right there for the Griffins. They have now made the show a 1-run game and now have the tying run at third base here with 1 away. And that will force the Dolphins infield to now go in. And how about Latour right there, Joe? A great scoop to keep that ball in play and avoid the runner from coming from third base to come in for the tying run.
That's a huge play behind the plate, Nick. And Whalen almost made a great play along the line, diving after that ball. Unfortunately for CSI, she came up just short. 2 runs are in, and the tying run stands over at third.
That's one of those where it was a couple of feet away from being a foul ball. So, fortunately for the Dolphins, stayed fair.
A bad bounce, and this game is tied. Whalen had to chase that ball deep into the corner.
We'll be able to see if it's fair or not on the replay right here, but you can see right there, a huge hit into the gap in right field. Both runners are able to score for the Griffins. They now make this a 1-run game.
And Frenza picks up a huge strikeout of Kayla Rolone. Griffins now down to their final out. Nick, I hadn't thought of it during the play, but that was close enough where fair or foul was a question?
Yeah, it was pretty much right at the line.
I didn't think so. I thought it was.
It was closer. It was close to the line. It stayed in fair territory,
okay.
But the wind definitely could have picked it up to the point where it could have been a foul ball.
Got it.
And now, how about the situation here, Joe? Tying run at third, 2 outs, Cunningham at the plate, Frenza an out away, giving the Dolphins a win.
Doesn't get any higher stakes than this early in the season. Home opener, 1-run lead, 7th inning, tying run on third, 2 outs. Dolphins looking to close out their 2nd win of the year. And that's hit to left, foul ball.
Joe, I can't tell. I feel goosebumps. Is it because it's cold or because of the situation we got going on right now?
It's cold.
It could be both.
It's getting cold.
It could be both.
It will be very cold once the sun goes down. Bundle up. Everyone watching at home, be very thankful that you can watch from the comfort of your homes. Here comes the 1-2. And that's smoked foul.
Frenza has put 2 straight good balls right there into play, just foul territory. So not going to be an easy out right here.
Well, Nick, if you remember earlier, I said Cunningham had some defensive cuts with 2 strikes. Those are not defensive swings. She was on those pitches.
And she just got a piece. She even knew it too, Joe. Just barely got a piece of that last one.
Frenza had her off balance on that swing.
And after, you throw 2 straight fastballs and they get ripped foul, sometimes have to go off speed. Let's see if she does it again.
Comes the 1-2. That's fouled away again. So that cut much more of a defensive swing, but the 2 swings prior to that last 2 swings, not so. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Frenza 1 strike away from a complete game win. And that will not do it.
Oh. You could hear it, Joe. The dugout from the CSI faithful not happy. And I can't say I fully blame them. That looked like it was right there for strike 3.
I thought they had it, Nick. And that's it to third. Moore has it. And the throw to first is in time. Complete game victory for Alexandra Frenza and the Dolphins as they hold on to defeat Chestnut Hill College in yet another 1-run game between these 2 teams as CSI takes the win 3-2.
And, Joe, that was a great play by Moore because she could have easily done a play where she threw the ball quickly and it could have maybe caused an error. She took her time, was able to make a good throw to first base after originally it looked like she bobbled the ball, made a good throw to first, got the final out, and the Dolphins, they had to sweat a little bit to get this one, but they do get the 3-2 victory heading into the second game.
They had to sweat just a bit, Nick. I can promise you, you and I will not be sweating
no,
during Game 2
no,
as temperatures will end up down probably around 40 degrees when the sun goes down later tonight. So Nick and I will step off headset for our break in between games. We hope to get our second camera set up in time for the start of Game 2. We'll get to work on that right now. Our final score in Game 1 of today's non-conference doubleheader, Staten Island 3, Chestnut Hill 2. Game 2 coming up next on a separate stream. Stay right here on the ECC network. Our stream will go live approximately 15 minutes ahead of first pitch.